Hello, this is Charles Modao once again, your ICT teacher. Let's enjoy the online lessons as we try to handle this problem of coronavirus. Please stay home, watch and listen. These are lessons that you learn from and you never regret. Now, today's topic in this video, I am going to talk about computer booting. Okay, I'm going to talk about computer booting. Now, this unit has specific objectives. So the ones that a learner should actually, at the end of the lesson, have. One, the learner should be able to define the term booting. The learner should also be able to describe the types of booting, should also be able to explain when booting can actually be done. Then also, the learner should be able to describe step by step the process of booting. Okay? Now, in this unit, for a computer to run, it needs or it requires an operating system, because the operating system is the software that manages all the activities and devices attached to the computer. However, when the computer is off, the operating system is not running and it is simply stored on the hard disk inside the computer. Therefore, when a user presses the power button, okay, on your computer and the computer is actually off, the operating system cannot get itself out of the hard drive. Altogether, since it is off. So how does the computer start up without the operating system? That's why in this unit we shall look at the step-by-step details of the booting process. First of all, let us define the term booting. Booting is the process of loading the operating system from disk into working memory. Altogether, booting, also known as boot up, is the initial set of operations that a computer system performs when electrical power is switched on. I hope you are following. So the process begins when a computer that actually has been turned off is re-energized and ends when the computer is ready to perform its normal operations. Now, let us look at the types of booting. Types of booting. We have, basically, there are two types of booting. The first one, we have what we call the cold booting. So, you need to define the cold booting before I give you the second one. This is the process of turning on a computer after it had been powered off completely, cold. Are we together? Just like if I had my phone and I switched it off, it would be cold. But if it was on, running, that is the next type of booting. Warm booting is the second type of booting. This type of booting is the process of restarting a computer that is already or that was already powered on. Are we together? Now, in a few minutes, I want to explain why the reasons for warm booting. First of all, during troubleshooting or rebooting may be used by users or support staff or system administrators as a technique to work around bugs in softwares altogether. Also, a warm boot is sometimes necessary when a program encounters an error from which it cannot recover. Therefore, switching operating systems on a multi-boot system without a hyper-visa, a reboot is required, altogether members, to switch between installed operating systems. I hope you are following. Then also new software installations. The moment you install new softwares, you require a warm boot. Then also the new hardware installations. For example, you have attached a printer, you have attached a keyboard, a speaker. You need to make a reboot, a warm boot, so that the systems can be re-energized. Automated software based. Then also when there is need to keep some computer components powered altogether. For example, components lose power during a cold reboot. Okay? Therefore, special configurations during a warm boot may allow part of the system state. For example, the RAM disk. Okay? Yes, all these are some of the reasons. Then lastly, the power supply. We are now looking at steps involved in the boot process. 1. The power supply sends a signal. Altogether, members. It sends a signal to the components in the system unit. The processor finds the ROM chips that contain the BIOS. BIOS is basic input-output system. So the BIOS performs the POST. POST is power on self-test, which checks components such as the mouse. Okay, the mouse, it checks them. The keyboard, my keyboard here. Okay, and maybe the adapter cards. A series of messages may display. Therefore, the results of the POST are compared with the data in the CMOS. CMOS in full is complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So, the BIOS looks for the system files on the hard disk. Then the system files and the kernel of the operating system load into RAM from the hard disk. So the OS loads the configuration information and displays the welcome screen. I want to thank you. I will end here for this lesson. I hope you have enjoyed. I remain Charles Mudawa, a teacher of ICT and computer studies. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.